Kevin O'Neill here at the Philly Cam Studios, introducing the 10th episode from Universal Poet for February Black History Month. And as we have a special honoree for that occasion, and I'm going to mention that in 1 second. But I want to mention that this is the 10th episode, right? So began this National Poetry Month, April last year. So this is January 7th, 2025, the first episode for the new year. So we have the Black History Month honoree, Brother Muhkam, the venerable elder statesman of Kevin O'Neill's Inmate Poetry Project at Great Effort Maximum Security Penitentiary. And when I say elder, he was the elder. The workshop group was a democratic process, so it wasn't an autocratic process, all right? Everybody had a word, everybody had a say in the group. So this is Brother Muhkam, the 20th anniversary of my landmark poetry festival, Day of the Poet, 9 years, 9 sold-out seasons at the Painted Bride Art Center, and I featured Muhkam on the giant monitor every month. We had a 20-year anniversary, and October 20th, and 2012 maybe, or no, wait, 2008, 17, 18, it was dedicated. The whole event was dedicated, sold out, $20 a seat. The Jerry Givness Theater at the Bride was sold out. It was dedicated to Brother Muhkam. Okay, and you're going to hear his some of his poems, and he's a very spiritual man. He's a Muslim. He's an ascetic. He doesn't watch TV and all that. He meditates and he writes poems, and his poems are chronicles, some of them, of atrocities that occur in the prison. So you can't write letters, the guards killed my buddy Joe today, you'd be getting killed. So he disguised thinly veiled the atrocities in some of his works in his poems. And that was a way he could both abreact and inform others, because I was taking his works out all the time, and you're going to see Red Clay Country on this too, a video that I did in Great Effort featuring Brother Muhkam, and all bootleg. It's all bootleg. Brought the tapes in, used the prison equipment, VHS. So it's not, it's nothing fancy, but filmed by the inmates. And you're going to see that Red Clay Country. The inmates are talking about what's going on in America's death camp gulags, right? The insane profanity, profane insanity of America's habitat for inhumanity. The 10th chapter episode, Kevin O'Neill's Universal Poet. So you see the universality coming through. It's not a snappy phrase, it's real. Kevin O'Neill, keeping it real.
That's being given to Brother Muhkam. I thought that since he suffered such a great loss recently, and some of us mentioned to him, some of us extended our condolences, but I thought as a group, and since the group has been together for quite some time now, all spring, all summer, it would be incumbent upon us to give something, a collective token together as a group. So I took the liberty to pick this up, and I thought it would be a fitting token to extend as a group to Brother Muhkam as a token of our solidarity and condolences for such a great loss. And I think it was something that any of us would want to do for anyone else in the group also. And I'm sure Brother Muhkam would be one who would come to the forefront if one of us suffered a loss. So anyway, with that long-winded presentation, Brother Muhkam, this is the book. The book is Becoming Brave, The Path to Native American Manhood. That's for all Muhkam's Native American blood in him. So there we go.
Well, at least I know why the book kept avoiding me while everybody was signing it. Every time I asked for the book, it went someplace else. But thank you, I appreciate it.
And thank you for the wonderful moments you've given us.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We've all been enlarged through Brother Muhkam's poetry and his great depth of spirit and character. We've all been enlarged, though. There's no doubt about that.
Let me get a close-up of that book.
Tell them about that struggle, man. That struggle.
Not now. Tell them later. Get busy.
That camera work, man. Muhammad's ready for prime
I
time.
think I should fade out.
Yeah, fade out on that and
Keep the book up.
keep the book up. Okay,
Well,
yeah.
not signature, yeah.
While he was turning each face.
Okay, definitely got to focus in on my joint. Egotistic. Not egotistic, realistic. Big difference.
Gotta turn to the right side of the book.
I go
Turn the
over there.
all that
Right
scribble
side.
scrabble in there.
No. Last page.
Last page.
Last page.
Hit it, last page,
Very
bang,
last page.
Last page.
bam,
Bam.
Bam.
flip that up.
Like living color. Ain't nothing on no damn last page. Oh, okay. Yeah.
One line.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it?
You can write his name.
Good. One hand clapping.
Well, I came to prison. I was about 33, 34 years old. I've been here 25 years.
Has the experience changed you?
Definitely. I hadn't expected it to. I hadn't looked forward to having any kind of a change. And the reason for that is the circumstances that surrounded my entire case. But along with that experience, I came to understand something else about myself too. You know, like I have a life sentence. I've been here for 25 years. And what I have is a death sentence. The difference between any lifer and a man on death row is that the man on death row has a date to die. A lifer, any day can be the end of his life, especially in a hostile prison environment. There's no reasons why for a sudden demise of one inmate or another. Sometimes there's a reason. No,
I noticed.
but it can be done anytime. And the person who dies doesn't necessarily have to know the reason why. As for myself, well, life is in general. Like every living thing learns to adapt to his environment if he's going to survive. And I had to learn the same thing, and every lifer learns the same thing. You adapt to the environment to survive. But some of us take it just a little bit further. Some of us begin to contemplate our lives, the way we lived our life. Some of us began to think very seriously about the wasted years. We contemplate life and death, heaven, hell, God. And some of us find that we can believe in something that is greater than ourselves. I mean, after all, how great can a body of flesh be? You know, I'm called Muhkam, and the prison calls me Robert Haygood. The title of the poem is Time Through the Ages. 42 years ago, the quiet old man had never known the sweet allurements of a woman's love. Her musk and fragrances had never touched or brushed his smooth, dark skin. For he was barely 17 when the brass keys turned and swung the gate that slammed at his back, then pushed him through the gauntlet of hard-faced men. A man-child, he swaggered down the gray tiled corridor, dressed in oversized coveralls, with the prison's name written on the back, inked in bold black capitals. Blankets and sheets were tucked under his right arm, his left clenched in a fist and bent in a hook. His fierce, angry brown eyes glaring into the face of any man who dared to take a look. No one could have predicted that an hour or day would come when he would contemplate life and death, here and after, or ponder the plight of his soul. A thought that brought him into a sweat and dispersed with a chilling cold. It wasn't a sudden awakening as if from a dream, for he is wide awake long before the breaking of dawn or the musical chirping of the birds in the prison yard in search of worms and crusts of bread. He sat with open eyes, staring at the gathering of the gangs and the flashing image of an innocent child silently slumping, falling to the ground, following the resonant twang and bang of the bullet that went wild, her hopes and dreams at rest behind the silent mask. His staring, ready eyes blinked a rush of unrestrained tears that rolled down the winding trail that time had carved between his nose and high-boned cheek. The flashing mind images disappeared, and the dark, trembling hand reached and grabbed his coarse gray hair and bowed the repenter's head. 42 years ago, he was only 17. My name is Muhkam. The title of this poem, It's Not the Wind. For the brave, determined not to fail, the strong who will not yield, through the gray steel gates in an open field, down a narrow, crooked road at the Graterford jail, the yellow brick house awaits. He was just a common man of medium height and weight, but cold, Heavy irons embraced each narrow leg, and a long dangling chain looped around the handcuffs that were locked to the belt that wrapped around his waist. The open field was cold and blank as the midnight hue. His body trembled as the autumn wind blew a chilled air across his face, and he stumbled and fell in the dust and dew when the guards pushed him through the gate. Like hungry wolves, they growled and pounced on his fallen flesh and beat him about his face and head till he neared the point of death. They beat him in the face and chest and laughed when he crawled to his feet, then jerked the chain till he fell again, a bloodied pulp in a heap. They cussed and taunted, punched and kicked, till he swooned like a man in a souse. Then drug his body across the stony field to the door of the yellow brick house. They drug his body across the stony field to the door of the yellow brick house. In the hole at the Graterford jail, we men were 120 deep. And at midnight, we heard that horrible sound that roused us from our sleep. Again, that horrifying shrill that raised our hairs on end. Be still, you scum, the night guard said. You've only heard the wind. It's not the wind that breathes a chilling blow upon a man's soul, or fills his veins with fluid cold, till frigid heart and marrowed bone are frozen hard, like lead, like stone. It was not the wind that whisked him in and slammed the green steel door and left him alone in the dark and dim, bleeding, naked, stomach retching upon the cold concrete floor where he laid his head beside the putrid mass. And beside the putrid mass he laid, oblivious to time and space. But only a moment had come to pass when the guards rushed in and struck again and threw cold water on his face. And it was not the wind that slashed and lashed his bloodied back, filling the row with eerie screams of pain, as though he were a madman in a rage. Like frightened birds in a cage, we men stood 120 deep and listened to that unending pain that had robbed us of our sleep. How much of stress and strain and pain does mind and body take before the wire's final snap? Will they brittle, hard, and break? It's not the wind that breathed and howled that terrible unending shrill that locked the heart of every man on the road, then became unendingly still. Nor was it the wind that breathed the drift that swung his body in a pendulum sway, toes tapping at the green steel door, eyes staring at the morning ray, toes tapping
at the green steel door, eyes staring at the morning ray.
You on, baby, you on the clock.
My name is Brother Muhkam, Robert Haygood, and I'm at the State Correctional Institution in Graterford. The title of the poem is The Shoes of a Homeless Man. I have one coat that I wear and use to sleep. I seek no house as shelter or roof over my head. It's enough for me that my wall is a tree, the earth my carpet, the sky my canopy.
Cut. Sorry, Tom, it's getting too close. I know this is going to be a bummer. It'll take up a little bit of time. Just keep it there, okay?
Keep it
Because I
here.
know it's going to get closer. I might as well stop you now before you get
I'll
halfway
be.
down.
I better.
It's my fault for
I
not
better hold.
reminding you.
I
No,
better
you
hold
always
this
get
closer then.
in his mic all the time, so rather than lose the whole thing, we'll
That's
just use
what
a couple
happens?
minutes, yeah. Just do your...
Right
yeah,
here?
That's good, yeah. Just don't come up with it.
Right
It's
here.
my fault, it's my fault for not reminding you, yeah. You get too close, anybody, you get reverb, that's perfect.
Now
yeah.
where do you want me to start?
Just take two, start right from the top, your introduction, right over.
Good.
My name is...
Muhkam, Robert Haygood, and I'm at the State Correctional Institution at Graterford. The title of the poem that I'm about to read is called The Shoes of a Homeless Man. I have one coat that I wear and use to sleep. I seek no house as shelter or roof over my head. It's enough for me that my wall is a tree, the earth my carpet, the sky my canopy. To walk a mile in my shoes, I'd wish on no man, though I know it would hardly be enough to warrant a conscious awareness of what I have become, who I am. The years of my youth were times of darkness and confusion. The animals of the jungle became the wild beasts that growled and prowled through the sagebrush of my mind. But I had become a creature of impulse, without ethics or morals, without compassion or shame. I have seen beyond the mountain, and I've crossed the fence and trod the grass on the other side, where I dwelled in the cities and learned the secrets of illusion, and I've exploited another's fantasy. In the glitter world of sport and play, I whiled away my time in games of chance, and in consequence of my ill deeds, I've endured the bitter cold of prison cells. I've walked with death, and I've burned in the heat of 1,000 hells, a horrific punishment sculpted by the arrogance of my own ignorant hand. To walk a mile in my shoes, I'd wish on no man, though I know it would hardly be enough to warrant a conscious awareness of what I have become, who I am. staring at the cracks in the wall of a prison cell, too small to stretch my leg or lift my head. A beam of light passed through my mind, and I listened to the silence and walked out, a humbled man. I have but one coat that I wear and use to sleep. I seek no house as shelter or roof over my head. It's enough for me that my wall is a tree, the earth my carpet, the sky my canopy. My name is Robert Haygood. They call me Brother Muhkam. And just for a few moments, I'm going to step out of my circle of oppression and let you guys see another side. My heart's beatings. In the dark silence, I listen to my heart's beatings.
Cut. Cut. We'll do it the second take. It's coming too close, Muhkam. I know you're going to
Too
do
close?
it again, so
Oh.
I don't want to lose the whole thing. Just do the
No.
same thing again. Cut.
What?
Yeah, keep it like here, okay? This is
Okay.
gonna. This is just a take. This is a take two. Yeah, I don't want to waste this because I know you're gonna start going up. Whatever, anywhere in here, but don't go past there, okay?
Okay.
So you can do the intro again. I'm gonna
Okay.
take myself out of my circle of
Mine-
oppression.
Okay. My name is Robert Haygood. They call me Brother Muhkam. And for a moment, I'm going to step out of my circle of oppression and allow you to see another side of me. My heart's beatings. In the dark silence, I listen to my heart's beatings. Listening to my heart's beat, I can see into the depths of shadows, beyond the mists and fogs of mirrors. Listening to my heart's beat, I can speak with sincerity and the clarity of truth that seeks neither gain nor loss. In the dark silence, I listen to my heart's beatings. Listening to my heart's beat, I am no longer saddened by appearances or disappointed by fate's predeterminations. There are no secrets, no mysteries. We are not a rib apart. We are one body, one life. In the dark silence, I listen to my heart's beatings. Listening to my heart's beat, I know that what I think, what I feel, what I believe must be in sync with its rhythm. For only then can I manifest in speech or words written the magnificent resonance of my soul's hymn. This is a little shorter, and I wrote this sometime in the past. I believe it was March 24th, '96, after a phone conversation with my wife, who has recently been deceased. It's called Age and Long Distance Conversations. Yesterday, I spoke of my desire to end my loneliness by bringing your soft bronze body closer to my own and to hold you until every thought in my mind, every feeling in my body, every inspiration that flowed from my heart and soul had become completely absorbed by that uniquely beautiful woman that I know to be you. I couldn't see your face as your light brown eyes stared quietly across the room, but I listened to the silence. At last you spoke. I'm 62. Today I'm still wondering, what does this mean? I wonder if you know that within the deep of this man, there exists an ever-burning flame, and that no matter how many or long your years, within the well of this man's soul, there dwells a timeless, abiding love. Thank you.
He said 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He said 5 minutes, 5 minutes ago though. So.
Yeah.
It's a 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Handle your business.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. Take care to be out.
Okay, well, since everybody's sitting, I'll sit. Okay, I'm Nathaniel Lee. The name of this poem is entitled Heritage Betrayed. And it goes something like this. Ebony-colored package, distorted contents, Afrocentric rhetoric lacking any substance, image of a black man reflected from a fool, preaching power to the people, you, the devil's tool, claiming royal lineage and such lies which cannot last, not the blood of African kings, but that of their contrast. They walk with their heads held high, yours are sagging down. They walk proudly and direct, while your knuckles drag the ground. They their people's highest hope, you their worst nightmare. They saw to their own sustenance, while you await welfare. They often fell, but they arose, you wallow in the mud. They drank the milk of nations, and you, millers and bud. Blood had they upon their hands just like any other, but they shed that of their enemies, and you that of your brother. Thank you.
This is a group reprimand on Nathaniel Lee, who earlier today, before anyone came, he was the first one here and said, I don't like poetry, I'm going to start writing prose. I hope someone will beat him up later or something like that on the block. Now, what is that? He says he doesn't want to write poetry, he wants to write prose. That is like, man, I hope you're going to change your mind, Nathaniel Lee. All right, he just said that, right? To get me to say this on the. Okay, you are hereby remanded by the court of common pleas, appease the politician bandit, to be shackled and branded again by the long gavelled hand of Mephistopheles. The Apollo has landed. Okay, here we go. All right, this is Kevin, Smoke if you got him, Kevin O'Neill signing out from Graterford, deep within the belly of the B-E-A-S-T. What?
9297, home. Keep it real.
Hey!
Y'all, let's break it down. Break it down. We don't have that going side. Hey, we have
My name is Robert Haygood. They call me Brother Muhkam. I've been in prison for 25 years. I'm serving a life sentence.
14 years.
So that would have made you at what age when you...
17.
Well, I've been in here 11 and a half years since I was 16 years old.
16 years ago.
At age 16?
At age 17.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Submit? Submit or get your skull busted.
What you gonna do when they come for you? What you gonna do when they come for you? What you gonna do when you are hereby remanded by the court of common pleas, appease the politician bandit, to be shackled and branded again by the long gavelled hand of Mephistopheles? The Apollo has landed.
For he was barely 17 when the brass keys turned and swung the gate that slammed at his back, then pushed him through the gauntlet of hard-faced men.
I have dreams to remember, dreams to remember. I have dreams.
That's right. That's right.
This is about handling your business.
Right.
I have lived a painful life, okay? A lot of times I asked myself a lot of questions when I was coming up, you know, like where was my mother, where was my father, and things like that there, you know, and I stayed in a house, in a home with a house full of people, and sometimes I had those moments of loneliness, and I called out those names, you know, whereas a lot of people might call out God, I called out for my mother.
Hate, hate. You're the reason, not them. They touched you as a child, you survived, or so you thought. Getting yours now will affect no one. Your soul's been bought. The one touch by the hurting, and it really hurt, pushed your dominoes, and they're still clicking while they fall.
Being locked down, you know, in and of itself, is something that I don't think is really designed for any man.
Things that, you know, prison is designed to do most is to destroy man mentally and emotionally and spiritually, you know, not just physically.
Prison is designed to crush your spirit, to crush your soul, and to destroy your physical being. That's the only reason it's designed for. No other reason. It's to destroy you.
For my own experience, prison is a place that would destroy all self-respect and moral from an individual to come in here.
And there's nothing on TV, there's nothing that you're going to read in a book, there's nothing that anybody's going to tell you that's going to prepare you for what you have to deal with when you come inside a prison.
This prison does not reflect, it is not a microcosm of American society. This prison is a microcosm of North Philadelphia. It's a microcosm of West Philadelphia. It's a microcosm of Black South Philadelphia. That's what it is. It's an extension of the ghetto. It's a suburban plantation.
You are off to see the wizard of Imperio, Perro, Murrow, lynch mobs, and black gas mass hysteria to bury ya on the campaign plantation capital of all hills, Third Reich from the sun, 1601, Penitentiary Avenue.
When Master placed me in this environment, he said, "This is your chain."
I still remember the hatred in the eyes of a man who didn't know me. I still feel the pain while he beat me till I could not see.
And this is the new slavery for anybody that's out there, you know, really digging this thing. This is the new slavery, institutionalization of people, and especially people of color.
Yeah, you do time, rehabilitate what they said, but the true ending the man wants is your black ass dead.
The enslavement of African people, chattel slavery as you know it today, was successful is because it was invisible. And so too these neo-concentration camps. This is called Tales from a Dead Man, because being in these neo-concentration camps is like being dead.
Some people call me Scott Latney, some people call me AM 6002. It's all the same in prison, just a name and a number.
Welcome to the well-oiled Orwellian cell block hell of red clay country. You have been repossessed by the state, and your fate is now in the hands of the hunter, a pale pack of hack alien body snatchers from the cracker factory. Don't ever slumber. You can change your first slave name, but your second is a number.
I come from the land of the Liberty Bell. Did they ring the alarm when the slave ship sailed across the waters of my African borders and brought me to this land of misery and slaughter? Truthfully, I don't think so.
It's really painful for me because I never really dealt with those, those things. I just like pushed them in the back of my head, and I never did have an opportunity to like deal with my father or interact with him in any way.
Dreams of mighty kings, warrior queens, creators of math, science, medicine, astronomy. Dreams of shackled brown black bodies traveling across oceans and seas, broken backs, torn flesh, helpless ravaged women, children snatched from their mother's breasts.
See, if you get out of control, we're going to put you with the niggas. You see what we do to them. So, basically that's one of the elements of enslavement in these neo-concentration camps in America. That's America with 3 Ks.
Yeah, like that Independence Day thing, you know what I mean?
You have been re-emancipated again by the Grand Master host of America's most unwanted, dead or alive, into the obscene penal code, commode stratus of the least favorite nation within a nation status, the 50666 satanic annex of the Iceman, P.O.O.O. Box 7 bondage, James bondage.
When you walk through the wall, when you walk through the gate, it's like you're passing into this pressurized bubble that you have to exist in 24 hours a day. And this pressure, you feel it. It is a physical presence that you will feel, that will weigh upon you, that will make you older, it will make you tireder, and it will destroy your health, your spirit, if you let it. It's a daily battle.
No tall tales, just tales of jail hell, pissy and shitty smell in a dirty cell. I ring a bell, brothers that did a bid know it well, trapped in dog cages, victims at tender ages, news pages, never reporting the slave wages. Cheers, cheers, my nation enslaved in their prime years.
The jailhouse of slavery, just another level. A penile nation of millions, isolated from the rest of civilization on suburban plantations like Auschwitz. Though their institutions despise me, fear me, refuse to understand me, so they try to destroy me.
Madness prevails here. You can tell by the bars on windows, 40-foot high walls, tormented cries of bodies chained, blank eyes, staring faces, and loud slamming doors.
You have entered the alimentary epicenter of the body politic, a.k.a. the absolute depravity of the abdominal cavity of the beast.
You just can't keep a man in a cell trapped 22 hours a day and expect him to return to society or to whatever jail population and act right, because it ain't gonna happen.
You see guys standing in their doorways hollering and screaming and talking to nobody. This is a regular occurrence on every block, all up and down the block, all throughout the jails, and you see people losing it.
Murder, violence, cold killing each other. Don't you realize that I'm your brother, father, son, uncle, nephew? One way or another, I'm related to you because bloodlines got crossed in the mix.
An airtight twilight cyber zone of cloned Y chromosomes where the devil and Davy Jones are on lockdown with Lord of the flies on C-block Sodom, where slow torture and the fortune in men's eyes lies so far below sea level, whale shit, the pit and the pendulum unfit for human habitation, and ground zero converge on the cellar floor of Gomorrah, where colts, votes, and boats tick the cold click of the clock, tick-tock, tick. Multiply by pi, magnify by 200 years of justice, deny, divide by 360 degrees of smoke. If you got 'em, it's called rock bottom smoke. If you got 'em, it's called rock bottom.
That I'm basically left to myself to deal with. I have to deal with on my own now. And I experienced things that I think I shouldn't have experienced.
The years of my youth were times of darkness and confusion. The animals of the jungle became the wild beasts that growled and prowled through the sagebrush of my mind. I had become a creature of impulse, without ethics or morals, without compassion or shame.
Coming from the environment I came from, prison to me was like almost something we had to do.
While in the county prison, you can see the difference in the sentences. Those who are white and those who are people of color, the whites receive the county bits and the blacks and Hispanics and so forth receive the state time for the same crime.
Now, we all been put in prison. All the white people have disappeared. Where they at? White people ain't committing crimes. This prison is 89% black, and the rest is Hispanic. It's about 5 white people here. It is. It's 4,000 inmates here. It's about 5 white guys. Where are the white people? They don't commit crimes anymore?
My son wrote a letter today. In it, my face was a question mark. He said, "Dad, I need your help." But my prison cellgate was shot. Only my mind wandered, and the agony of my absence was a humid fog that constrained and choked my heart. Thank you very much.
Because as it stands now, people of color, particularly those of African descent, are being slaughtered in this war because they don't understand that the war has been undeclared and relentlessly waged for the last 400 plus odd years.
What about that struggle, man? That struggle.
Not now. Tell them later. Get busy.
Rock and roll, they built this city on Plymouth Rock auction blocks in the murder of rolling thunder.
Forgetting vast cruelty and brutality. Does not take much convincing others to kill other people. Institutions of killing. Life so easily turn murderers in a blink of an eye. Do people care?
While civilization spreads its insanity onward, souls are rotting on the vine, dropping to the ground like so many spoiled fruits.
This is the house that Jack built. This is the house that Jack built.
Prison life is real. Prison life is me, my father, my brothers, and those that been denied justice by this wicked system, those that will never see the street ever again.
It's just another fucking day on lockdown.
A locked-down, naughty megalopolis of human crops of cotton rotting on the vine, of equal protection, huddled, half-masked, cast the first stone fast. 'Cause it's gonna be your last. It's back to the future, and your future is your past. It's back to the future, and your future is your past.
Prison is the fabric of American society. So prison indeed is in my future.
To fling my arms wide in the face of the sun. Dance, whirl, whirl, till the quick day is done. Rest at a pale evening, a tall, slim tree, night coming tenderly, black like me.
Well, my future, right now, my future is just shadowed by a life sentence, right? But
Well, my mother passed away when I was 3. Okay, I was named after my father. He was an alcoholic. He was, had illnesses as a result of his alcoholism, and I just looked at the world like the world owed me a living. I don't want to bash my father, but I would like to deal with a lot of issues about him.
Poverty begets crime. And they're not going to solve the problems of poverty in America, so therefore they're not going to be able to solve crime. So all they're going to do is keep locking people up, locking people up.
Ain't nothing change, 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 ain't nothing change.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. The warden's pleased to meet you. Hope you guess his name. Now meet Pol Pot, Pandora, Pluto, Pandemonium, and the Prince of Darkness.
Staring at the cracks in the wall of a prison cell, too small to stretch my leg or lift my head, a beam of light passed through my mind, and I listened to the silence and walked out, a humbled man.
I wake up with pain, I sleep with pain, I walk with pain. Pain to me is something that's just part of my life now, 24 hours a day.
and here you don't have nothing. So if you're coming from an environment where all your life all you seen was violence, when you come in here, you're going to be confronted with the same thing, violence. Psychological violence. Cycle.
Violence, hatred, fear, and the Khmer Rouge, your constant companions through these catwalk canyons of 12x9 final solutions.
Master gave me this chain. He placed me in a rat cage, put another cage on top, another, and another.
That's what they did to the Jews. She said that she believes that prisoners should be used for experiments. Don't use animals. Now, we've gotten to the point that we care more about animal rights than we care about human rights. I'm not a human anymore. Come in here, try some new drugs on me, make my motherfucking skin a lampshade.
Pure terror, fear, loneliness. There's no way that you can put a gauge or try and measure the depths of what you feel, how hopeless the situation seems to you when you come inside cold walls where people hate you or people try to kill you.
Death by incarceration.
They don't hear the silent screams in the middle of the night or when you can hear a pin drop at 4 o'clock in the morning.
We, as a whole, have experienced this place more than enough.
Where torment, cement, and steel, and the real 8th Amendment ferment and fester in the belly of the least of your brethren, pilloried in Hillary's village of the damned, where the only law on earth not broken is the call of the wild man-child in the promised landfill of smoke. If you got 'em, it's called rock bottom.
How did your mother die?
Because of my father.
Your mother died as a result of your
Yeah, crime of passion.
crime of passion.
Yeah, shotgun blast.
Here, the midwife of life and death and the mother of all invention is Father Time, where every cover is blown and every soul on ice has China syndrome. You have been judged by the caller to have answered to what you have been called. You have crawled from a ball and chain breakable into the shadow of the highest wall of all, breachable only by the reach of the hawk and dead man walking. Here, year after year, you will be counted 4 times a day, but will amount to nothing. Survival of the unfittest is the myth of surviving what you arrive with.
What hurt you the most about losing your freedom and being brought here?
What hurt me the most about losing my freedom and being brought here? What hurt me the most was that when I got locked up, I was 16 years old. I just turned 16. I turned 16 down the roundhouse. And, you know, and them years hurt me the most. 16, 17, 18, 19, not being able to experience what the average 16, 17, 18-year-old kid out there experience.
You have a son?
Yes, I have a son.
How old is your son?
14 years old.
42 years ago, he was only 17.
Son, your trial isn't over. It's just begun. Now, bend 'em and spread. Like I said, you're in red clay country. Bend 'em and spread. Like I said, you're in red clay country.